Pittsburgh Steeler fans, welcome back to another episode of the Scho Bro Show. This is Steel Curtain Network's Dave Schofield coming at you Tuesday night, a little bit further after 9 p.m., but where else would you rather be as a Steelers fan as we take this everything, the good and the bad, in together? And with me as always, except when he's not, which is times when he's like at the stadium and stuff like that, is my big brother Rich. Rich, coming off your experience in Acrisure, how you doing tonight?
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, I've said before, a lot of times, I have to admit that losses are a little bit easier to handle in stadium. I don't think that was the case this time, was it?
Not really. It was a little disheartening.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, and the thing is, how often do you play a game where you lose by 14 points, and it's not like the team is scoring at the very end to like extend it as much, but yet you enter into the final period tied and with a chance to even have a 7-point lead, and then it ended up working out that way. It was just weird. Yeah.
It went from okay, it's solid enough that we're hanging in there to the wheels fell off.
Yeah, it just was kind of very weird and very strange. And I'm going to go ahead and say this now to set up the title of the show. Tonight's show is brought to you by the letter C. All right. We've got a bunch of C's that we're going to talk about. And that's not a grade on the Steelers, but we have a bunch of different things that I kind of came up with, several of them that the Steelers really need to improve on that start with the letter C. Now, I'm going to say this now, and I'm sure there'll be other people that hop into the live chat and say it later, but I'm putting the disclaimer out there now. One of the C's that we're talking about, well, we're going to talk about it along the way, but we're not going to specifically mention as one of the C's. It's not going to be coaching. And here's why. Just to say, oh, well, they got to improve coaching. That's not helpful. That's not beneficial. So it's not going to be one of the C's. There's going to be multiple C's that we talk about that are going to reflect the coaching rather than just say coaching. Because that's one thing that does drive me nuts is when people are like, oh, that's coaching, that's coaching, that's coaching. Okay, what's coaching? What should be done differently? What's the answer here? Oh, well, that's just, and to not have one kind of drives me bonkers. To just throw out a blanket statement that really doesn't have any backing. And I'm not saying you're wrong for saying that the coaching needs to be better. It does. But it needs to be more than that. What about the coaching? And honestly, we're going to dive into several things with that.
Yeah, just
we really are. And it's funny. I got to bring this up because if you listen, if you listen to the Mike Tomlin not post game. Obviously, I did that one. But if you listen to the Mike Tomlin recap press conference earlier today on our audio only side, you might even hear this. John S says Dave sick, vitamin C, and I'm like, yeah, my sinuses have been just completely blah. So my voice might not sound the same because of everything. Luckily, I'm not dealing with a sinus headache today. I have dealt with that. In other words, because he says vitamin C, I don't know if he just said that because I was saying the letter C, but I don't know if you can actually hear it. I am sick, and I do take a lot of vitamin C. I'm now taking more because I'm sick. But it's funny because outside Steelers fans, like, C is in catastrophic. No, we're not talking about what's wrong. We're talking about, well, it kind of is going to be what's wrong. We're not just going to label it. We're going to talk about what needs to be improved. What good is it to just say, oh, it's bad? You want to talk about it's bad. I want to talk about that a little bit on Pittsburgh Standard Time Thursday morning. But we're going to talk about in a little bit different way. So make sure you check out this one. We want to talk about what the Steelers need to improve. And we're going to use the letter C to do that. Rich, first of all, in the stadium, I've got to ask this just before I know otherwise. Renegade. Did it just not feel right at the time?
No,
I called when they played it, and I'm like, they're going to do Renegade now. But I'm like, something about the way things were going, I'm like, it just didn't, I didn't, as a fan sitting at home, feel like, that it was going to be, I don't know. I can't explain it.
It really didn't, the team didn't seem very fired up by it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, the fans were fired up with it. Because who doesn't love a good in-stadium Renegade? As Pittsburgh Dad said last week, you just can't go all Willie Parker Nilly playing Renegade.
Yeah. It was the time to play Renegade. I mean, it really was in that moment. Because the Steelers, they had just came back. They had kicked the field goal to bring it to within one score, right? That's when they did it?
Yes.
And I don't know, I'm like, well, that was when you play Renegade, but I'm just like, I don't know, something felt strange about
Dave,
it.
Really, it was that the air was already let out of the sails
with on the Caleb Johnson play,
kickoff,
which we're going to get into that for sure.
Just so you know, as the ball skips in the end zone there, everybody in section 122 and 123 stands up and is screaming at him to get on the ball.
Yes. That's exactly what I was screaming from my couch. You should have heard me in Acrisure, coming from 100+ miles away. That's what I was screaming. I'm like, because now, we're okay. I'm going to go ahead and address that now rather than when it comes up as one of the C's. But before I do, I will say Renegade. There was a run for no gain.
Yep.
A run for 1 yard. But it was either after the first or second play, there was an injured player, and it took forever. It's almost like it was intentional. Maybe calm down from the Renegade. Someone gets hurt. You know what I mean? And it was 3rd and 9. And Patrick Queen was right there, and you thought he was going to get the sack, and Renegade was going to do its job, and the Steelers were going to get the ball back in down 7 with just over 5 minutes to go. And Darnold sidestepped and dumped it off to the tight end, and that was it. I mean, so much so they gave up that really, really weak touchdown.
Don't get me started on that one either.
Yeah. I mean, they were waving the white flag to just take a field goal, and the Steelers gave them the touchdown. Yeah. But to go back to the Caleb Johnson thing, I know I've seen so many different people on social media arguing about this, that, and the other stuff. They're like kids that have played since they're 10 years old know that rule. Guess what? Not that rule.
Not that rule.
I had told, it's so funny. Sometimes you take things for granted, and we're going to talk about that when we get
Dave,
back to this.
What they're talking about there, though, what folks were talking about was if you were outside and you touched the ball and went in.
He didn't touch it.
I know. It was close.
It was close. But it didn't matter if he touched it.
Correct. It didn't matter if he touched it.
Because I've coaching freshman football, I remember I was yelling at my star running back who also did our kick returns. Not our third stringer, it was our star running back that was back there, and he was good. He was real good. And I'm screaming, I've told him before, if you're back there, remember, it's a live ball. It's a live ball. So you can't just let it go. It's a live ball. They're kicking. He's just sitting there watching. I'm like, it's a live ball during a kickoff, something we had gone over a bunch in practice. And finally, he jumps on it, and we keep it. And I talk to him. I'm like, did you not hear me? He's like, Coach, I'm going to be honest with you. You've been telling me this in practice and everything else before. What do you mean by it's a live ball? I'm like, you know what? I understand. I should have explained that better. He didn't understand what I meant when I said it was a live ball. So that means the other team, if they get it, it's theirs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll make sure I get it every time. But that was in the field of play. People were trying to say, oh, this has been the rule for forever. No.
And
it was somewhere around 2018. They changed the rule to where if the ball goes in the end zone on a kickoff at all, it is instantly a touchback. You don't have to field it. We watched players do this even last year for years. That they would just let it go over their head, touchdown in the end zone. You'd hear the whistle. It was over. That has been the rule for a long time. But they changed it this year when they changed to make it to the 35 and everything. I don't even think this was changed last year. I think this was even this year. That the change was if the ball lands in the landing zone and
it has to land.
Yeah.
It has to first touch. If it's kicked and lands in the end zone, it's touchback.
Yeah, you don't have to field
Correct.
it.
Don't have to field
That's still the rule now. People are like, you always have to field it. No, even now, if it goes directly into the end zone, that's it. It's over. It's a touchback. Okay? If you let it land. If you catch it, you have the option to take it out. But if it lands in the landing zone, that's part of the thing of wanting to make more returns. You have to field. Now, you could down it in the end zone.
Yep.
But that doesn't come out.
That only gets you to the 20.
Is it either the 20 or the 25? I haven't seen that happen.
Yeah. No,
it's one of those.
Either.
So that was different from before. Before, if it went in at all at any time. And they said, well, that was also the college rule. If it goes in at any time, it's dead. But that now it's different. So it is a rule. You should know the rule. But people that are saying that's been a rule for as long as there's been football, no, they've changed how that works a good bit. So there we go. All right, Rich, we're going to get into some of these C's, but before we do, I got to address something. The things look a little bit different on my end for those of you that are here on the video. I will try to describe it on the audio side.
Yes, I noticed right away, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I got a blank wall behind me. I'm missing my SCN flag. You want to know why?
There was a break-in at your house and somebody stole it.
No.
Well, then what good is the story?
It's even better. It is in a packaging envelope on its way to Ireland.
Nice.
It is on its way to Ireland. It's on its way to someone by the name of Gordon Bent. I don't know if anyone, he doesn't always get it like in the live chat or anything. I don't know if he's ever been in there for people to see before, but it's on its way to Gordon Bent. You're like, well, why is it going to Gordon Bent? It's going to Gordon Bent for two reasons. Number one, he's attending the game in Ireland and he would like to have a flag. Number two, Gordon Bent is the person who designed that logo. He designed that logo for us. He gave it to us free of charge. And I'm like, you deserve a flag. So I ordered more flags, but they're not going to get here for a while to replace it. But I'm like, I got to send you the one I got right now. And I'm hoping it gets there in time because he says, look forward to the closed end of Croke Park when the Steelers play there. It's on its way. It's not cheap. I hopefully paid enough extra to get it there to him in time. I'm hoping. But that's the story. So it's going to be blank behind me until my new flags come in. It's going to be the same flag. And I'll be honest with you, while I was ordering it, I'm like, I'll order a few extra. So I actually have a couple more of those flags. And Big Bro could say, it's two-sided. It's black on one side. It's gold on the other with the logo on both sides. Two-sided flag. If you are interested, I have a couple for sale. Just for what I paid for them. I hope I don't have to ship internationally again because it cost more than twice as much as the flag cost in order just to ship it. So the first couple people that reach out to me, if you're interested in the flag, I would have ordered even more, but I didn't know if people would want them or not. I know someone has said something in the past to me. It was either Kathy or Afton, I know, that had asked about that. So just thought I'd put that since people were saying, hey, what's going on with the background? So we are hoping to have SCN represented there in Croke Park. Boom. That's putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
That's another C with cart. Okay. Because we've got another game to talk about before that.
That's correct.
So yeah. So, and honestly, I'm not charging Gordon for the flag because he designed it, but I have to inform him that they told me when I sent it that he might have to pay like a duty tax. I said duty, just to get it coming internationally. I'd like file customs for it. I'd never shipped something internationally. It's crazy. Anyway,
Okay, I've
So
had stuff shipped to me internationally, but I don't think I've shipped anything internationally.
yes. So that was very interesting. So that's the story there. But I thought I'll keep you all up to date on the progress. Ask me again next Tuesday, and I'll tell you as I'm tracking it to see where it is. Because right now I think it's still in Baltimore, before it heads to Ireland. So
Yeah, I hope it gets out of Baltimore quick. We don't need any of that Raven stank.
no, we already that stuff. I don't have a piece of mail that comes to or leaves my house that doesn't go through Baltimore. That's just
I know.
So, all right, we're going to get into some of these C's. The first C I'm going to talk about is actually so we could talk a little bit about something with a little bit of news from Coach Tomlin's press conference. Cohesion. Steelers are having a problem with some cohesion, especially on defense. Man, 7 players mentioned by Coach Tomlin in his injury report, part of his press conference today. All 7 on defense. That's what's crazy. Not that there's 7 people, but it's all 7 on defense. Isaiah Loudermilk. Okay, let me write this down. He's out for what Coach Tomlin would say weeks with a high ankle sprain. That tells me there's a decent chance. Doesn't mean that it'll be tomorrow, Wednesday before practice. It could wait till Saturday until they see exactly what else they're going to need. He's going on IR, in my opinion, and he should. I thought the Steelers' defense was better once he was out of there. Yeah. So that's Isaiah Loudermilk. And then he said Alex Highsmith, he's not as bad. His is less significant, but he's still going to be out this week. But so that to me that sounds like Highsmith isn't someone who's going to go on short-term IR. So there's that. You got the 3 guys that missed last week in Elliott, Porter, and Harmon. He says he labeled them now questionable at best. So that means that best case scenario, they're questionable. You got to see how things work this week. And he also said it depends on how much, what your experience is on how much work you have to have in order to come back. Specifically saying, Derek Harmon, it would be his first game. So he would have to get significant work in order to come. So that's what you have there. Who else was there? Patrick Queen and Darius Slay. Queen, they're calling it, before they said ribs, now they're calling it an oblique. So that tells me it's more muscular, of course. And then not like he had a cracked rib or something like that. And then Slay with the shoulder, he said they may be limited early in the week. So that's a lot of attrition on defense, isn't there, Rich?
Yeah, decent amount. Amount.
Yeah, so what do you think would be the most significant of those injuries? I would say Highsmith, but we already know he's ruled out. So rather than the guys that are ruled out, who would you look for? Who are you saying it would be really nice to have him back the most? Elliott. Out of curiosity. What?
Elliott.
To help with the what's going on in the back end, a C we're going to get to here shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would help. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe. I still think Joey Porter Jr. should be drawing the top matchup.
Yeah.
Right now, with the way things are going, that one would be pretty important too. And then of course everyone wants to deal. They're all important. They are. So I use the word cohesion there just to. And it's one of those things that the Steelers are going to have to work through here early in the season, but. Man, once you start to get everybody back, it's really going to be, it's going to be nice later, but you got to get there first.
Yeah, and later doesn't do any good if you're losing a bunch of games before later.
Yeah, exactly. Having an early bye might be a good thing this year, when typically I want a bye to be as late as possible.
Yep.
To help rest up for a stretch run. But hey, okay. Anything else you want to say about that?
Nope.
All right. Let's get into some of these C's so we can talk about the game. All right. I'm going with this one right off the bat because it's the number one thing I said in the post-game show. I think some of the biggest thing that the Steelers were dealing with this week was consistency.
Yeah, and it felt that way in the stadium too. It's like like the defensive line, the defensive front would be solid for a couple of runs, and you're like, okay, they got it down. Here it is, and the next thing you know, we're getting gashed.
Yeah,
it was just every time you got to something where you started to think it was good, then it would be bad. And then you're like, oh, gee whiz. And then they do something good and then something bad. And it was just like, it was just so back and forth, up and down, which was kind of hard to deal with in stadium.
Yeah, like the run defense. I'm going to bring this up because I specifically looked up some of the numbers for my By the Numbers article that ran at SteelCurtainNetwork.com on Monday. And that is this. The Seahawks had 29 running plays. 29. This isn't anyone with the quarterback at all. This is or a kneel down or anything like that. Okay. This was 29 run plays. 15 of them went for 2 yards or less.
And that's fantastic.
Of those 15, when you add them up, the total was -3.
Right.
If you took all those 15 runs where it was 2 yards or less and you add them up, well, it really helped that there was one that was -7 at the very end of the game. Where Herbig just came through. It was like, yeah, you're going to just run it. I'm going to come through and blow you up. So it showed you that they could do it. They just couldn't do it consistently.
All the time. Yep.
Yeah. So is that really, because remember, this is, I was trying to come up with a good C for you. I was on the couch. You were at, I don't know, you're at Crusher Stadium. I don't know. You were there to see it for yourself. I mean, there was nothing I could do to throw a C in there. So yeah, there was just some consistency issues with that, and I think in the passing game too. But I think it was passing defense. I think it was much less consistent though than what the run defense was.
Yeah. Yeah, although I don't know, Dave, the pass defense really had some of its ups and downs.
Well, I think it had more downs than ups
That's true.
Compared to the run defense.
Yeah.
Like you'd get a nice pass break up from Darius Slay had one. I think Ramsey had one good play in there, but then he gives up the big play. And it just seemed like 3rd and long, no matter what. I'm really, really tired of the philosophy of it's 3rd and 9. You can't give up 9. The philosophy really needs to be it's 3rd and 9. You can't give up 3.
Yeah.
Because I'm so tired of them being it's 3rd and 9. We're willing to give up 8. But then they go for it on 4th down.
Right. And that's what everybody said on that one play. It was like, well, they're just going to go for it. And they went for it and they made it. And it was like.
Then there was another one. They're just going to go for it. And it turned into a interception and all that. That was pretty cool. There was another one I thought they were going to go for. It was one where Cole Holcomb was the guy. They dumped it off, well short of the sticks. Cole Holcomb. You might not have seen it as well from where you're sitting unless you saw there. He started giving a bunch of ground, so much so he almost gave up the 1st down. And I honestly thought they were going to go for it.
When was that play? That was actually.
That's a good question. I think it was in the second half.
I think it was at the very beginning of the second half, and I was actually out on the concourse trying to fill up my drink because it was hot.
Gotcha. Yeah,
and so I saw that
just wait. We're going to get to that too about it being hot. I have something about that.
So I was there with Thaddeus Kennedy, and so we're sitting there, and Thaddeus and I, that play happened, and I said, I wish Cole Holcomb wouldn't have given, he gave ground to try to make sure that he made the play. I wish he'd have just gone and made the play.
Yeah. But if he comes up to make the play and doesn't, then it's definitely a 1st down.
Maybe.
But he almost gave them a chance to go for it.
But how many times do we see guys come in and try to make that play at or around the line of scrimmage, miss, but the guy has to make them miss, and that gives time for the rest of the troops to get over there and rally to keep them short.
You are exactly right. That's a very good point as well. So that play, and I brought it up on the knee-jerk reaction article that I was doing for you. That's one of those. It's kind of, that's almost like a philosophy that they keep having that I don't like. That it's like on third down, you got to give up less yards than what they have to go. No, you've got to give up enough. You've got to now. If you're talking like 3rd and 3 and they get it to 4th and 1, that's still a really good play. But when you're talking 3rd and 9 and you're giving it up to be a 4th and 1, that's not good enough. That's not good enough.
The philosophy on 3rd and 9 shouldn't be don't give up 9. No, the philosophy should be get off the field.
Yeah. Because then when you're left with 3rd and 17 and you're giving up 19 yards because you're willing to give up some, then what do you know? The other team makes a play and the next thing, and there it goes. And honestly, people, I don't know how many of you are on social media and if you follow certain people, someone who actually podcasts for FFSN, Tim Benz. I've communicated with Tim, been in meetings with him before and everything. But one thing that he talks about, and I've pushed back on him a couple times where I've responded, he throws a fit about every time on 3rd down when the Steelers throw short of the 6. Okay? News flash for everybody. All NFL teams do it. The Steelers don't do it any more than anyone else. I even broke it down last year that they do it pretty much on league average. We're on 3rd down, especially 3rd and long, throwing a pass that's not past the 1st down marker. Here's why. What are teams doing? What are the Steelers doing as a defensive philosophy? They're protecting the sticks. And sometimes it bothers me that they protect the sticks and give up too much in front of them. Other NFL teams have the same philosophy. So sometimes you're like, if you throw short of the sticks where you can actually complete the pass, then you have an opportunity to let your player make a play and get you the 1st down.
Yes, but what irritates me on the Steelers' 3rd and 9 is we throw a pass 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then
that's a whole different. I understand. That's a whole different story as well. To like make sure we complete it and get something. No, if it's 3rd and 9 and you're dumping it off to a guy 5 yards downfield, and look, DK Metcalf did that exact thing in week 1, where you threw it to him short and he busts it and gets down the sideline for a pretty big gain. That was a 3rd down, and he hadn't done that. Okay, so my thing is, when you're trying to throw to the sticks or beyond on 3rd down, you have a much less chance of completing the pass because that's where the team's defenders are. So if you're like, hey, if they're going to let us catch it short and us get past them, then we're going to take that. Well, guess what? If you have that as an offensive philosophy, Steelers, you should be able to combat that philosophy when you're on defense because you know it because it's in-house. That's ultimately my point. If you're going to be a team that throws it short of the sticks on 3rd down and say we want our guy to make a play, you can't be a team that says, oh, all right, we're just going to let them complete it short of the sticks, and then they beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a different. I have plenty of things to rant about, so that one's over. So that's what I had with the first one with the Steelers being consistent. We're not done with it because we got to talk offensively. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break. We'll hit the offense and then we'll hit into some of these other C's. Sound good, bro?
All righty.
All right. So if you're with us here live, we're not going anywhere. If you're with us here in the audio, we'll be right back after this break.
Relax, don't worry, no rush, what's the hurry? Relax, don't worry, don't worry, relax. Relax, don't worry, no rush, what's the hurry? Relax, don't worry, relax.
All right. You know what, Rich? After seeing what we saw on Sunday, it's kind of tough to relax and not worry, isn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah. So, do you want to mention anything with offensive consistency?
My issue is I don't think I ever got a grasp on what the Steelers were actually trying to accomplish offensively in that game.
And you know what? You got the same feeling that we got sitting at home.
Yeah.
Bring up another C that Jeff liked. He even quoted me on his Let's Ride because I used it in the postgame show. Sometimes they were getting cutesy.
I don't know if it was even cutesy. Like, we weren't really... It didn't feel like we were trying to establish the run. The passing game was all over the place. It just... I'm going to ask you a question because you might have been able to tell a little better sitting at home than I could in the stadium. Okay. But I felt in week one, there were a lot of times where Aaron Rodgers was reading the defense and, get a C in here, changing the plays.
Mm-hmm.
It did not look like that was happening much this week. I could probably count maybe 3 or 4 times where it looked like he might have changed the play at the line. And I'm not even sure if it was that many.
That's a good question. I don't know that I can answer that one. Maybe some people in the live chat can. So that I don't know if he was because honestly, you know what I'm trying to do? Rather than pay attention to what Aaron Rodgers is doing to change up things, I'm actually most of the time trying to pay attention to the alignment and stuff with the offensive line. And also, I will tell you this, when I'm trying to do the stuff that I typically do for SCN and do the knee-jerk reaction article, I don't get to watch a lot of stuff until they snap the ball because I'm really, really busy with stuff during the game. So I don't know the answer to that question. I might have to go back and look at that one. That's a really good point.
I just never got a feel. Most of the folks didn't. We did not get the feel in the stadium of what it was the Steelers were trying to establish offensively.
Yeah.
And if you really go back and look at the stats, the Steelers were lucky to be leading that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I was saying in the fourth quarter they had a chance to lead. They actually had a chance to take the lead. That was the third quarter when that interception happened. I don't know if I gave the right timeline with all that and stuff. But to me, that drive was kind of strange. You open up that drive, that was a nice play to Jaylen Warren. The rusher rushed hard inside. Broderick Jones just buried him into the pile so Aaron Rodgers could step out around with nobody out there.
Yeah.
And just flicked it, and then all of a sudden, Jaylen Warren's just kind of there, and he just kind of breaks, and Rodgers just flicks it to him to hit him on the run, and then he's breaking all those tackles and everything and getting down there. And then they come back to that after that, and they go to run a play. The next play they run gets blown up. I don't know if it was something that they didn't quite execute the snap with the timing of everything right, if it was a little bit early, or if it's the player just didn't get there. But Connor Hayward was coming in motion, and he was supposed to get the defensive end, and he was not where the player, he wasn't there in time to make a block, who just came in, blew up the play, and they had to, and Rodgers had to get rid of it. Yeah. That's why part of me is like, did they snap it early? Was Hayward late in his motion? He was definitely late for the block. It was just not, it was very discombobulated on that play. Then, of course, they want to run it, and they hand it off to Gainwell for 1 yard, and a lot of people are like, why isn't it Warren? Why isn't it Warren? Due to just run down there 65 yards, breaking all those tackles, he had to come out of the game. Well, and I want to talk about that a little bit. Okay. Then you get the interception. Was that coming? That was coming towards you, wasn't it?
Right at me.
I don't know if Freiermuth catches that ball or not. I don't know. He had a chance to.
Correct.
But Calvin Austin was not where he was supposed to be and knocked it right to the defender. That really sucked.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if Freiermuth could have caught that ball, but Freiermuth should have caught the ball in the first quarter on the long throw from
the one that Rodgers knew it was a defensive penalty, so he took the long shot downfield?
Yep. That happened right in front of me and goes right through his arms. It's like, Pat, you got to catch that.
Yeah, he needs to. So, yeah. I mean, the farther you are downfield, the farther, the harder it is to catch the football. It just is. But he doesn't mean he shouldn't have caught it. Yeah, you're right. So that one was weird to me. With the consistency with the offense, does have to do a lot with the offensive line. I felt early on in the game they actually got some push, but then there were times later in the game they got no push. They weren't consistent with their push on run plays, and they were. I mean, I felt Broderick Jones was much better pass protecting this game. Troy Fautanu was not, and I don't think that the interior of the line was doing as good with the pass protection in this game.
Where's the mean? These guys should be nasty. This line should be nasty.
Yeah,
we're not playing nasty. We're playing like a bunch of Jags.
But I will be honest with you. I feel like sometimes maybe they're coached to play more of a patty cake style because it feels like they're playing patty cake. I mean, I've said before that it's supposed to be a punch first style, but you're supposed to punch and read. To me, that's just like playing patty cake. So that's just what it is. Anything else with the consistency of the offense? Because I have something else I was going to bring up.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Next, creativity. I didn't know if you wanted to go ahead and say something about that because I know that's a big one for you. Did you know that? That was one you had to figure was coming.
Yeah, I had to figure that was coming. I'm actually just going to start with that a little more on the defensive side of the ball. I'm a little upset that with the personnel that we have and the depth that we have, that we can't get more creative with our defenses. They are still just so bland. And so many times it's just rush for and drop into coverage. Rush for and drop into coverage. There's nothing. There's no change in the look. There's no, and I think that's what makes it easy for teams. They know what the look is going to be, because it's basically the Steeler look. There's, which is going to take me into something else on the defense. Okay. Something needs to change on the defense.
Okay.
Who calls the plays on the defense? I don't know, but let me tell you this. If Terrell Austin is calling the plays on the defense, then he may need to go. And if Coach Tomlin is calling the plays for the defense, he needs to give that crap up and give it to Terrell Austin.
I don't think he calls the plays. I think the way it works is how it would typically work with a head coach. I'm thinking, like when I was coaching, it was freshman. We were, the head coach was also the offensive coordinator, so it was different. But with the varsity team, it wasn't always this way. But the one year where the head coach was not either coordinator, he would tell the coordinator some stuff he wanted to see, but he wasn't calling it play by play by play, which is probably what it is. So, yeah, I understand they're saying, well, we couldn't really do as much as we wanted to on defense because of the players we were missing. Okay, well, you know what? If you can't do much because you got a bunch of new players, then get your new players ready faster when you had opportunities to last month. You can't not do anything to get them ready. I mean, I know you're saying practice is great, and you don't want to get them injured, but you can't not really have them out there to try to get them working together in a game situation and then complain that we don't have enough work together in a game situation because they're all new. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah. Now, I will say, the couple things that I did like in this game defensively was when the Steelers were blitzing, it wasn't just always a corner. I liked blitzing the middle linebackers.
Yes. There were parts of it was good, but that's what part of it was, consistency.
Yeah.
With that is that they had some nice things at times, but honestly, my biggest fault really comes to third down. I mean, the average distance that the Seahawks had to go on third down throughout the game on all their third downs was 9.2 yards. You hold a team to needing 9.2 yards on third down on average throughout the game. You should hold them to you should hold them to a 10 to 15% third down conversion rate. And it was over 40. It was 43.
Yeah, and it's almost like you get to those third down and longs, especially, and the Steelers are like, "Oh, we got to play to not mess it up." Well, when you play to not mess it up, you know what you usually do?
Mess it
up.
No, and that's the thing. Here's another C. You're aggressive on first down. You're aggressive on second down. You get them in third and long, and you go conservative.
Yeah. Yep.
Stay aggressive. So part of your creativity on defense needs to be get rid of that conservative. Okay? Don't worry about being conservative. Continue to be aggressive. I would rather lose being aggressive than maybe squeak by, maybe not being conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take control of the game.
Yeah.
Control. There's another C for it. Control.
Control it.
Control the game.
Man, we're just busting out all the C's.
Just
Yeah.
I feel like, again, I feel like we play to not mess things up instead of playing to control.
Yeah, you're right. And I think the creativity on offense, it seemed like the offense flowed week one and the offense just did not flow in this game.
I got another thought when it comes to the creativity on offense.
Go for it.
So I love what we saw on the 2-point conversion that the Steelers completed.
Yep.
Yet we get down on the goal line and we see none of that same creativity.
Yep.
That
Bottom line is
that little gadget play that blew up and didn't work. That was a play that was not about creativity. That was cutesy.
Yeah. To me, I didn't like the first play they ran after the Herbig interception. The let's line up two running backs on either side, and we're going to have the option of one out in the flat or one as a dump off on the other side. And like I said, Rodgers wisely dumped through at his feet because it just didn't work. They had a bunch of stuff that was like,
and that interception. If Herbig just follows Sawyers, he scores.
Well, they scored anyway, so that's good.
I know, but he cut it back inside. But it was like, if he had just kept following Jack Sawyers, he had it.
Yeah.
But
so, all right, I've got another C here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Communication. All around. You could talk about communication like, I mean, come on. Calvin Austin, you knew Freiermuth was going to the back pylon. When a ball's going towards the back pylon, why are you trying to go get it? Even though you weren't in the right spot, why did you think that was your ball? Still, okay. With some stuff like that, so they have to communicate those with each other. That's a big deal on defense. Coach Tomlin's like they're playing. He said that they were playing off too much because they need to improve communication. I'm tired of hearing the excuse of communication is hard at home games because the crowd is loud. Crowd! You were in the crowd. I was on the couch. There we go. Why did I not think of that before?
I don't know. You're a dork.
Yeah, I know. I embrace it. So that communication, and honestly, I'm going to say the communication of making sure that your player knows what to do when they're back there on a kickoff with a live ball. That's communication from coaches to players. And I brought this up before. I can't remember where I heard this before. I thought it was someone who talked about it with Jeff or something, that sometimes the Steelers rookies seem a little bit lost when they first come to the team because the coaching staff leaves so much on the culture, that's another C, the culture of the Steelers gets passed down from veteran to rookie, which isn't a bad thing. But there are some rookies who are like, man, they don't even give us any like workout stuff. Like you think you come to the NFL and like, this is what we're going to do for your workouts, this is what we're going to do for your weight training. No, they kind of expect you to do a lot of that on your own and give you the opportunity to do it. But they don't really communicate some of those things. And honestly, I'm going to be honest. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, how honest can I be? Come on, Dave, stop that. I think that goes into some of the reason of why they can't call on their rookies early. Because I think I don't know that they communicate enough stuff with them well enough. They take too much for granted of what's known. Now, did that happen for the Caleb Johnson kickoff blunder? I can't say for sure. But what's sad is that I can't rule it out either.
Right. I will tell you this, the entire stadium felt a lot better on the next kickoff when Jalen Warren was out there instead.
Yeah, and Coach Tomlin did say today that for the short term, Caleb Johnson's not be returning kicks. And I will tell you, because I don't know if you read the knee-jerk article that I did for you or not, I was complaining about Caleb Johnson being back there before that snafu.
In the first quarter, you were complaining
about I want someone that explodes up into there. That's what you have to do. You've got to get as many yards as you can before you have other bodies around you.
Yeah, you can't sit around and wait and look at things and then try to get your way up to speed. You've got to catch that ball and get up to speed as quickly as you can and then worry about if you're going to make a cut or something.
Yes. The Le'Veon Bell style of running does not work on the NFL's dynamic kickoff.
No, it does not.
Yeah. So that's one that I say communication. I'm going to bring up one other C because I know we don't have much time. This is going to be, I'm going to talk about something that bothered me from this week and something that's going to bother me in week 4. So it's not as much for week 3, but we're just going to say, and it's actually the C, commitment. I think sometimes the front office has to do things a certain way that they don't help their players. And I'll tell you this. How many times have the Steelers gone on the road and gone south and teams have switched up what they typically do in order to make the Steelers wear their black uniforms in hot weather?
Yeah.
You were at home. You get to choose. You screwed over your players. Jalen Warren's on the sideline because he's running a 65-yard run in 86-degree weather in a black uniform. Now, is that an excuse? No. I mean, that's Peyton Wilson's throwing up at the side because of heat-related issues. My thing is, why aren't you... Huh?
That was right in front of us. That was disgusting.
My thing is, why aren't you doing everything you can? Why don't you commit to do everything that you can to win an individual game? I don't care that the Steelers always wear their black uniforms at home. If it's gonna make you at a disadvantage because of heat, don't do it. Stop being stubborn. And you know how I'm going to go bonkers when the Steelers wait till the end of the week to go to Ireland rather than go early in the week, when all the data shows going earlier in the week has you more prepared and ready to play. They don't care about being ready to play. They care about saving money on having to house everybody there. Commit to winning from a front office standpoint, not just saying, which to me, the same commitment of, we're not going to get rid of any of these coaches as long as they're still under contract. Okay? That's not committing to winning. You need to commit. Now, there's nothing we're going to do about that now that's going to save the 2025 season. But that's just another example of commitment. I don't know if it was even discussed, but when it's over 80 degrees, you should not be wearing your black uniforms unless they force you to. That's just me personally. I'm going with it.
I definitely agree with that. I couldn't believe when they were coming out and they were in black. I was like, oh, that's going to be
This is what they always do. Yeah. I mean, that was one of the hottest games regular season you're going to get in Pittsburgh. I mean, I know they've been in the 90s, but I mean, meaning based on the time of year and where the Steelers schedule is this year. Week 2 at home, they're not home again till week 6, till the middle of October. Now, could it be really warm then? Yeah. I've been to October games that were really warm. But it's that different temperature there.
And it could be below freezing as well.
Yes, they could too. Okay? So, and that's what I'm saying is like, forget about, it's like, would the Steelers sacrifice winning a game in order to keep a tradition of how they wear their uniforms? That would be, and I'm not saying that that's what cost them the game, but didn't help. Why? The whole point of home field advantage is to take every advantage that you can. All right, maybe I need to get off my rant there. Am I crazy? I mean about this. I mean about this.
Yeah. No, you're not crazy about this. In general, yes, you are.
Yeah.
But
And I'll be honest with you, I like the Steelers' black uniforms better than I like their white uniforms.
I do. But
Those are the ones that I buy. I don't buy a white. I mean, because I don't like wearing white because as soon as I wear it, boom, there's instantly a stain on it. It's just not worth it. But to me, that's just because I like them better, and that's why I'm like when they do the color rush. I like that they do it at night because guess what? You're not dealing with sun. Black. Like I'm wearing an all black shirt right now. It absorbs all the energy that hits it. White reflects it all. There's a big difference there when it's hot. All right, had to bust out my sciencey physics nerd stuff. Okay. I think I hit them all. I hit cohesion, hit communication, creativity, commitment, stuff like that. Anything else you want to say about this game from when you're there before we go on?
No, I don't, because it'll just be, continuing to wallow in the suck.
Yeah, but here's another thing that's crazy. You want some other numbers? I looked these up, but I didn't include them in my article Monday. The Steelers are 2-6 in their last 8 home openers. The only 2 that they've won were in 2020 in front of nobody. Actually, there were maybe a couple thousand people when they were doing it at that time. And last year, when the home opener wasn't even until week 3. They've actually been laying an egg in their home openers for the most part.
I hope they get over it, and because they ruined what I was feeling after week 1, especially offensively. Offensively, I'm like, things are going, things are this, that. And last week it looked like we were back to the same old, of throwing 3-yard passes, and yeah. It was just downright ugly.
Hey, but I don't know if you saw this. What went down? You're like, man, there were some sacks where Aaron Rodgers just held the ball forever. Do you want to know why?
Because nobody was open. You could see that in the stadium.
Do you want to know why nobody was open? Because the Seahawks rarely sent more than 4.
Yeah.
They rarely blitz. And all the numbers are Aaron Rodgers against the blitz. Well, last week he did better against the blitz than he had historically for him in recent history. But they didn't send the blitz. You know what they decided to do? They tried to cover everybody. Don't let him have an easy completion because we think we can get past this line with just 4 people.
Oh, he missed Roman Wilson wide open for a touchdown one play.
People talked about that, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was going away from us and Roman Wilson down the right side, and there was a nobody. And he was as soon as he saw there was nobody, he's out there waving, and Rodgers is looking, scrambles, throws. It's like, never saw Roman Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
We talk about, Steelers at times and their secondary communication issues and breakdowns. It seems like when the Steelers have a communication issue and a breakdown, teams take advantage of it and score touchdowns.
Yeah.
That was a case where the Seahawks had a communication breakdown, left the guy wide open, and the Steelers didn't take advantage of it.
And that just kind of goes to show the kind of day it was. It was one of those days and you thought so early, because think about that. The Steelers had 69 yards in offense in the first half and had a 7-point lead.
Yeah.
Because they had the 2 takeaways, got 11 points off of those takeaways. But they didn't get that in the second half. They ended up, officially, even because the kickoff thing doesn't count as a turnover. But my goodness, that should count as 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, and honestly, I don't. After the game, Aaron Rodgers even made a comment like, "Yeah, maybe some people were complacent that it was good that with scoring 30 points that the offense And honestly, with some of these young guys that have been around the Steelers for a while that haven't had that kind of stuff, I could see why they were pretty excited after week 1. But you can't be complacent. There's another C. Complacent. Don't be complacent. Yep. So, all right. Anything else before because everything that we talked about with the things they need to improve is really about this week. No, did we talk about the specific matchup going to New England, everything else? No. But these are all things that the Steelers need to work on in order to be able to be successful this week. So the thing is, there was plenty of warts in week 1 when the Steelers got the win. The problem is when you have warts again in week 2 and you don't get the win, boy, those warts seem enormous, and that you'll never be able to get them to go away.
Yeah.
So we were right for still being concerned about the warts in week 1. Now it's like, whoa, okay. But also remember, we're 2 games in. What the Steelers have to ultimately do now is respond. The coaches need to respond with their creativity, with their preparation, with everything. The players need to respond with their preparation, getting the job done on the field, and all of it has to work together in order for them to roll on. Sound good?
Let's go to the scores.
You're okay. Well, so you're ready for it?
I am.
So dinner out is a go.
What's that?
So dinner out is a go. I'm sorry, I had to throw a reference there. That's do you know what I'm referencing there?
No, I do not.
It's actually it's a Robert Redford movie because he passed away today. That one's one that I really like. I don't think it did very well, but I really like it with him and Brad Pitt. That's from Spy Game. If you've never watched that one, that's a pretty good one. So, all right, and that's something with the end of the. If you've seen it and you like the movie, you're going to get it. So anyway, yeah, been a long time since the Steelers have won a game in Foxborough. Things are lining up where they could. It's not like they're playing the best team ever. I know Coach Tom was like, yeah, their special teams made some splash. Their special teams also gave up some splash. Didn't they allow a punt return or something like that last game too? I'll be honest with you before you give your score. I do not think the Patriots are a very good football team right now. They beat the Dolphins, but the Dolphins are really not a good football team right now.
Yeah, the Dolphins are pretty atrocious.
But the question is, are the Steelers a good enough football team to beat the Patriots?
Exactly.
That's what it comes out. So it's one thing to say that they're not going against the strongest opponent, but you still got to be better than them. And I after everything going on right now, I can't say for sure that I think the Steelers are. I think this was a game I predicted the Steelers would drop this year. Because they don't win in both week 3 and week 4. So they're going to drop one of those two.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see which one they do. So, Rich, it's scores time. What do you want to go ahead and give us your score for this game? Now, for everyone in the live chat, just to remind you, don't put your score in there yet until I tell you that it is time.
All right. So the Steelers go to Foxborough. And there will be an aberration off in the corner of the stadium of a crumpled up blue hoodie that is sitting there mumbling, well, now I gotta cut it right out. And the Steelers will succumb to that aberration of Coach Bill Belichick still being there. He's not there, but they'll feel like he's there. This is going to be an ugly game. I expect this game to just be ugly all around, both sides. I'm not sure what that's going to mean in terms of the scoring. It could turn out to be a very high-scoring game. I think it's going to be close either way. If it's high-scoring or low-scoring, it's going to stay right around there. I'm going to go with I'm going to say 20-16 Patriots. Gets the home win.
Gotcha. I gotcha. I know. Poor Afton, I know. She's like, she had it typed up and it accidentally hit enter. But I just put it out there. You can put your scores in now, everybody. You know what? I completely get that. I don't really know what to expect in this game. I mean, the Steelers, I think, initially were favored by a point. I don't know how it's changed at all. We'll see how that goes out with the week. We will give you that Thomas Riley, he's very consistent. He's got Patriots 24, Steelers 24. I could see this. Obviously, Thursday is when I give my prediction. I don't see the Steelers getting blown out. But even this past week, I don't know that they were blown out and they lost by 14. To me, getting blown out is in the middle of the third quarter. It's done. I don't know that the Steelers rally and be the team that blows them out? They could. Or the Steelers going to get blown out? I don't know that they would. But I could see them. I could see where it feels like no matter what they do, they can't really. You never really feel like they're going to win it. I could definitely see that as well. Okay, so what did I get? I got Thomas so far. So here we got Steeler Chick 46 saying Patriots 17, Steelers 10. Matt Cat has 20 to 13 because he didn't put a team. That means Steelers. BF Bud has Pats 31-27. Okay.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop you. There was one before Thomas Riley.
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh, Afton got hers back in there. Sorry, Afton. Where she said 12-7 bad guys. I missed it. It didn't show up in mine at first, and it came in later. This is really weird how they do that. So, yep, we got you, Afton. What's the last one I did before that? Was BF Bud, right?
Yes.
So I should be here on Outside Steelers Fan. Outside Steeler Fan says good guys 25-21 because Warren runs crazy. I was there in the stadium in Pittsburgh when the Steelers, what's his name, went crazy. Oh, the 5th round draft pick that was like his only good game he ever had, rushing. He had to start, and the Steelers won 17-10.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember his name? Jalen Samuels.
There
That was it. Yeah, that was it. I was there for that one. So, I could see somewhere running back could go bonkers. I think now I'm on Brent. Howell says 24-12 Steelers. Kathy has 18-12 Steelers.
Actually,
Kathy Ford.
She has it later on. She had a fat finger error, she said.
Uh-oh.
It should have said 17-12.
Oh, 17. Okay. You know what? I'll probably bring it back up when I see it. Andre has 28-14 Steelers. Andre Green. Sorry, I keep saying only the first name because that's what it says on my screen until it comes up. And I'm trying to stay with it. Ruben Stone says 31-16. Good guys. So that would be a nice bounce back game, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Steel Chef 402 says 24-20 Steelers. Pickens, you big dummy, had the Steelers 21-12. Frosty the Bear has a long explanation. You can read it all if you want, but I'm going to say Steelers win 30-13 is ultimately what he has. He has a lot more of a prediction in there. And then I'll bring Kathy's back up with her fat finger error of 17-12. Matthew Bunk has 24-15 Steelers. TD Tom Dessenberger has 18-13 Steelers. And that's the last one I have for now.
That's the last one I see for now.
Okay. So with that, I hope people understand that I said I wasn't going to bring up one specific C of coaching. I said it early on because I felt like just saying it's coaching and not offering a better explanation or even a potential improvement is a cop-out. That's another C.
Saying coaching was just too broad. Too broad.
Yeah,
we needed to drill down on that a little bit.
Yes. So I think, where we said the creativity, the communication, even you could even still go to commitment there, stuff like that. All those different things. That game wasn't all on coaching, and that game wasn't all on the players. There was plenty of letdown across the board in week 2. But the Steelers are 1-1. They're in the murky middle, and it's really week 3 is the big one. Do you go 2-1 or do you go 1-2?
Yeah.
So this is a big one coming up before they head overseas. Because they lost this game, I don't think they could look ahead to going to the traveling. I don't think you can look past this one after dropping that one. Honestly, that's why I originally had the Steelers winning in week 1, winning in week 2, dropping in week 3, because they were looking ahead to their trip. So that's just what I was thinking.
Yes.
But make sure you're checking out all our podcasts. Not sure the schedule. Like I said, sometimes we shift some stuff around based on when Steel City Insider gets to us. But otherwise, we're bringing you it's a normal week. It's a normal week with a 1:00 game on a Sunday when God intended NFL football to be played. So we'll have your podcasts. We'll continue to have the breakdown. Hey, if it's something you're interested in, something I'm doing every week, that's an article that'll be out on Thursday, is where I update week by week how the compensatory formula changes game by game based on the snaps that people are playing. I did that last week, and I'll be honest with you, it's different again this week. It is. Now as the sample size gets, where each game is less of a percentage of your total, it's probably not going to affect it as much, but you can see better where it's going. So that's another fun one. Look for that on Thursday. Make sure you're checking out all of our content at steelcurtainnetwork.com. Big Bro, how do you want to finish this off here tonight?
Well, this week I am going to leave the crowd and return to my couch. It's going to, I don't know how I'm going to feel yet on Sunday. Right now, I'm not really excited about Steeler football. Give me a couple days, though, and I'll probably be ready to jump back into it. But, in the meantime, I'll be headed over to, the website to read up on some stuff and try to get the enthusiasm back for Steeler football before I sit there on Sunday.
Wait, and you've also got to give us your worthless 2 cents on it, too.
Oh, man, you don't want to see what not sure what that one's going to say this week. Yeah, I got to do that, though, because I got to get that one behind me so I can start looking forward here. And really, for me, it's going to be a lot of eyes on not just the play, but I'm going to be kind of watching, what am I going to say? The philosophy, the style, the
scheme.
Yes, to see exactly what it is the Steelers are going to do to try to get this ship righted. And that'll all happen at 1 o'clock on Sunday when God intended football to be played. Can't wait.
You gotta just chill out, man.
Can't wait.